Hello, everybody. Mike here. You may know me better as IceWarm, and welcome to the very first episode of my new video game show I'm going to be doing on YouTube on my channel. And I'm going to be taking, like a game or a game series and comparing games in that series. Like what was good, what was bad, what I liked personally, what I didn't like, things like that. And the very first episode, we're going to be covering Counter-Strike. And I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Counter-Strike. The first time I played it was in 2001. My cousin got me into the game, actually, and we went to an internet gaming cafe where I played it originally, and I liked it at first. I thought it was good, and I was interested enough in the game that I went out and bought it. This is back in the day where this is before Steam and all that, so you'd have to go to the store and buy it. So I bought it, installed it on my computer, and this is probably one reason I didn't like it, because back at the time I was running on a dial-up connection, but I was still able to play the game and, play the game and compete. But I noticed the more I played the game, the less I liked it. To the point where I actually uninstalled it from my computer because I just was getting kind of sick of it. I, wasn't having fun with it. Whenever I went to an internet gaming cafe, it was just way too competitive. People were like yelling at each other, like across the room and all that. And I just kind of stopped liking it. And then I played Counter-Strike Source after that. That didn't really, change my opinion. I wouldn't have bought Counter-Strike Source, but I think it was bundled when I bought the Half-Life 2 Collector's Edition. I think it came with it. So that's the only reason I really have Counter-Strike Source, is because it was included. And then I've been playing Global Offensive lately for like the past year and a half, and I'm really, really liking that game. So back in 2001, I wrote this list of things I didn't like about Counter-Strike. I'm going to bring that list up here really quick. And again, this was written in 2001, and there's going to be a lot of the reasons are probably repeats. Because I just remember being really angry at the game at one point, where I just decided to write up like nitpick the game and pick out every reason I didn't like it. So the number one reason I didn't like Counter-Strike back then was people who played it would think they were complete weapons experts. They would be like, oh, that's this gun, this model, la 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 la, and base their opinions on it solely on how the gun from the game. They've never fired the gun before. They don't know how much recoil it actually has and all that. I mean, I suppose you can get a kind of a bearing on the gun from the game, but it's not going to be anywhere near if you actually were to take the gun to a shooting range and fire it. Okay, and then one thing I really hated was people making up these really dumb terms in the game for events that happened. I remember playing at the internet gaming cafe, and one guy got hit with a Desert Eagle, and he's like, "Oh, you totally deagled me in the back, bro." Stuff like that. And then getting hit with a grenade is called getting naded. I don't think I've ever used those terms ever. I've heard them used at the internet gaming cafes, and then over the voice chat, over Steam. All right, and then people who play it, they'll complain about campers, but they'll camp themselves. And in 1.6, that's a little more understandable because you would only have one life per round, and sometimes camping in these games is, necessary. If it was a game like Unreal, I don't camp in Unreal, but in Counter-Strike, I might, get into position and wait for somebody to come. But in the modes I've been playing in Global Offensive, I've been playing the more, where you actually have more than one life. All right. Anyway, people who play it, hate cheaters, but then cheat. I remember back in 2001, cheating in Counter-Strike was just rampant. It was terrible. It was the days before Punk Buster, so people would wall hack where they can shoot through walls or see through walls. They use aim bots that would automatically, basically just aim for the head every time. The bot would aim for you, and you would just hit the mouse key and, get a headshot. And then there was the skin hacking where you could appear to be a member of the other team, sneak in behind those guys and kill them all in a few seconds because they thought you were on the other team. Stuff like that. I think, there wasn't enough modes in the original game. I think it was hostage rescue and maybe demolition, or bomb planting. I forgot what they called it back then. Not enough game modes. I don't think there's enough maps in the original game that I liked, and like a lot of the maps are kind of dumb. Um, Not enough models and skins. I would like to have been able to, because I remember on 1.6 or even before that, like each side only had 4 skins. I kind of wish, and they don't have that many in Global Offensive either. I think there's a few more, but I wouldn't mind having something where you can go in and customize like what you look like, like pick different clothing options and stuff like that. And then also like having to wait between rounds kind of sucked in the original, like especially if people were cheating and they would wall hack you from across the board before you even got out of the spawn area, and you would have to wait, however many minutes that was until the next round started. People complain about getting sniped and then sniped themselves. I think in the original game, all the voices were the same. The names people would use for like clan names and player names back in 2001 they were just really unoriginal and really kind of dumb. Usually often having to deal with murder and stuff like that. Just pretty stupid, I think. The players that I ran into at the internet cafes were just really cocky. Like, just constantly talking smack the entire time about how great they were and all this other stuff. Internet gaming cafe, at the gaming cafes, people would just like constantly be yelling across like the room at each other, usually cussing each other out, calling each other like terrible names, and it just got to the point where it was just stupid. They'll complain about people, stealing. Like they're like, "Oh, you stole my frag, bro," stuff like that. Where I'm like, okay, first of all, it's a team game. Yeah, granted, you might not get the kill, but if your team wins because of teamwork, isn't that what the game's supposed to be about? Not a single player game. It started off as a free mod, then you had to buy it. I mean, they've made enough changes to where I think it was actually it's a good game for people to buy. Like I said about the weapon things, the people, say they know anything about the weapons, but they'll probably likely never handle any of the weapons in the game. I think the only gun in the game that I've actually ever used is a Glock, and we went up to a shooting range and we fired a few rounds off with the Glock, and that was about it. And the Glock, it's probably a different model of Glock, but there's a Glock in the game, but that's the only gun in the game that I've fired. People claiming that I remember one kid at one cafe was saying, he's like, "Oh, the MP5 is such a good gun. It has this, and this." And I was like, "Have you ever fired an MP5?" And of course the answer is no, and neither have I. But, people thinking that they know all about the weapons just from, what they know about from a game is kind of stupid. People, like I said, people who skin hack, the skin hacks are the worst. Like I mentioned earlier, that was another reason. Like I said, this list was written in 2001, so there's going to be a lot of repeats. Oh, and back in the day, I didn't like the servers that would play one map constantly. I've kind of warmed up to that a little bit, especially if it's a good map or a fun map. Having a server that plays that constantly isn't really such a big deal anymore. Back in the day when, I don't know if you can do this in Global Offensive, but there's custom spray tags you can make, reuse, and you go up to a surface and you tap, I think it was a T button, and it would spray like a graffiti kind of thing there. And the immature people, of course, would put pictures of put pornographic pictures in there and pictures of wieners and stuff like that. And it's just kind of stupid. Play the game. You don't have, that's just dumb, I think. Well, I think they know all about the weapons. Again, that's a repeat from the other thing I talked about earlier. People who think they have quote mad skills, but they let their team do all the work for them and they just hide in the corner. Oh, yeah, I see seen people complain at the internet gaming cafes, be like, "Oh, I'm the best at this game. I'm the greatest," and then they get killed within seconds. Maybe they got killed by a wall hack. I don't know, but they just say they're the greatest and then end up getting killed instantly. The nude skins. This is in the original game. People would hack those to be naked. I'm like, come on, really? How stupid is that? Oh, like I said, people that would say Counter-Strike is the greatest game ever. No, I don't think it is. It's fun, but it's not anywhere near being the greatest game ever, I don't think. And back in the day, people would it would be, whenever I was at one of these gaming cafes, it would be everything out of anybody's mouth would be about Counter-Strike this, Counter-Strike that. I remember like one guy was walking by with a cane, like on the sidewalk going by, and one guy's like, "Wouldn't it be cool if that cane had a shotgun in it, yo?" I'm like, "All right," and he's like, "That should be a weapon in Counter-Strike, bro." I'm like, "No, okay, now you're that's just stupid." Even though I guess a shotgun in a cane, that's more like a James Bond thing, not a terrorist, counter-terrorist kind of thing. But yeah, I already said that people that talk too much about Counter Strike. I said the level design in the first game, not the actual like geometry of the level. That is actually good because they're pretty well balanced. But like the locations in some of the levels were just really dumb. Like I was thinking, what does this Aztec temple have to do with the theme of Counter Strike? It's nothing really, at all. And that's just that list I wrote in 2001 about why I didn't like the game. I still think a few of those reasons are pretty valid. Like, people thinking just by playing a video game and using a gun in a game that they actually know what the gun is going to be like or how it's going to react. That's just stupid. But, then Counter-Strike Source came out. And like I said, that game, I think I said I got it for free because it was bundled with Half-Life 2 Collector's Edition. And I really didn't play it that much. I played it a couple times. And it was basically the same thing, just better graphics. And I played it again a couple years later and found out that the servers now are just way over modified. The people running the servers get carried away with way too many custom sound effects, custom graphics. I got into one game today and I didn't even finish the game because it was so annoying. First of all, I had to download probably hundreds of files just to be able to play the game. I don't even know how many files it was, but it was a ton. And it was all custom graphics and custom sound effects. Like a lot of sound effects lifted directly from Unreal Tournament. So if you get a headshot, you get the headshot sound. If you get a kill streak, it's kill streak sound from Unreal Tournament, multi-kill and all that. But the thing is, there's so many custom sounds on this server that they were bleeding together, like all playing at one time, and the server was unplayable. It was like I said, the people running the servers, at least on Counter-Strike Source and probably 1.6 still. Like I said, I can't speak to 1.6 since I haven't played it in so long. But they just got way carried away with like how many things they wanted to customize in the game and how many like things they wanted to change, and like it was just annoying. And then the player base in Source is still as toxic as it was in 2001. I got into one game yesterday, and the first thing out of somebody's mouth was "F this, F that, get that effer," stuff like that. Where I was just like, okay. And then people on the same team, talking smack to each other, using like the most like crass language you can think of, and the way to describe each other. I was like, really? Okay, I'm out of here. I'm done with Counter-Strike 1.6 and Source. I haven't noticed any of that really in Global Offensive yet. The only time I've ran into anybody else that had a microphone on, they were singing "Let It Go" from Frozen, which I thought was kind of funny, but I haven't had anybody yelling at me or yelling at other players in the game, cussing them out or any of that kind of stuff on Global Offensive. And I'm really liking Global Offensive. The new modes are fun, the arms race mode, and there's now a deathmatch mode. And these modes are good because if you're not great, I mean, I'm all right, I'm decent, but I usually don't win the game on my own. And in these modes, you can actually respawn if you get killed. In arms race, it's fun because everybody starts off with the same gun, and the point is to get a kill with every single gun in the game, with the exception of the taser. I don't think the taser is part of that rotation, and getting a kill with the taser is pretty difficult because you have to get right up to next to the guy, and it's only a single shot weapon. So if you fire and miss, you're done. The gun is out of ammo. You can't refill it, or you can't reload it. I mean, and then also the deathmatch mode. I'm really liking that in Global Offensive. The thing I like about it is you generally will spawn with a random weapon, and you get points for getting kills with that weapon. You can also still buy the weapons like you used to. Just go into the buy menu, and it's all organized by weapon category. But one thing that's nice about the deathmatch mode is the bonus weapons. Every once in a while, it'll say this is the bonus weapon for the next 30 seconds. You want to get this weapon, and you hit a key on your keyboard to accept it, get the gun, and then if you get a kill of that, you usually get you get bonus points. So let's say a kill. I think the kills are usually, I've noticed, are usually 11 or 12 points. And if you get a kill with a bonus weapon while it's in the bonus time period, you get an additional 6 points. So that's pretty interesting. And then also I've noticed, there's more guns in the new one in Global Offensive. Better modes. Obviously it's basically built from the ground up. It feels like a complete game. Like I said, like Source and 1.6 feel more like a proof of concept kind of thing to me. And this feels more like a complete game because there's all the modes from the original game are here, plus these new modes, plus more weapons and things like that. And I'm really enjoying Global Offensive. When I bought Global Offensive, it was on sale, I think, and I was kind of apprehensive about it because of my experiences with 1.6 and Source. But Global Offensive, I think, is one of my favorite games currently. It's a lot of fun, and there's more variety to it. There's more replay value because you don't have to wait between rounds. You can play, like I said, the deathmatch and arms race mode. You can respawn as soon as you get killed, and the respawns are generally instantaneous, which is nice. And then there's obviously more maps. There's maps that are specific to certain game modes. Like the maps in arms race are generally small. Like arms race is nice because it's basically, you want to get in and play a couple quick rounds, go with arms race or deathmatch because those rounds don't take all that long. The demolition mode is still there where it's 20 rounds and it's whoever wins best out of 20. And I played one of those earlier and it was still fun, but those ones, that's where you get killed, you wait until the next round, and then halfway through you switch sides. So in that mode, usually the terrorists are trying to plant a bomb and blow something up, and the counter-terrorists are trying to defuse it or kill all the terrorists before it gets planted. If a terrorist plants the bomb and gets killed, then the other team still has to defuse it and find it. That's still a fun mode, and like I said, I've noticed a lot less toxic, players cussing at each other in this game. I mean, maybe I'm just playing on different servers, I'm not sure. And another nice thing about Global Offensive is it features bots. So you can get into a game that'll be completely full of bots, and then as more people come in, those bots get phased out. And another thing that's nice about the bots is in Global Offensive, if you die, you can take control of the bot. But of course, if you take control of the bot, the points that you get, like the kills that you get and the money you earn, go toward that bot. They don't go toward you. But that's nice if you're playing in a mode where you only get one life. You're able to still continue playing by controlling the bots and using them to get the kills and finish off the game. Pretty nice. So overall, I think the takeaway from this is I didn't like 1.6 or Source. 1.6 was just like I said, a lot of cheating at the time, or maybe not 1.6, but like the game prior to that, before 1.6, it was just way too much cheating, way too much of a toxic gaming environment, I think. Source pretty much had the same thing, and then again the servers were way over modified, where it made it just like an annoying experience having so many sound effects going on at the same time. But Global Offensive feels like, I mean, this is the game I think they probably wanted to make originally, but they couldn't because it was like basically like they were modding the Half-Life engine, and they maybe could only do so much at the time. I don't even think it was using the Source engine yet. But like I said, Global Offensive is fun, and if you guys enjoy the, you can still enjoy Source as well in 1.6. It's just not for me. I never really cared for it, but I think Global Offensive is probably the best of both worlds because you get the exact same game as 1.6 and Source, with the modes that were in there, as well as these more casual modes as well. So anybody can just jump in and play. It's still pretty fun. And that's going to conclude this very first episode of this video game show I'm going to be working on. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you like. And if you want to visit my main website, you can go to icewarm.org. And if you feel like supporting the show, you can go to patreon.com/icewarm. And that will support, this show, my wrestling show, the Classic Wrestling Cast, which you can get at icewarm.org/wrestle. And, all the other stuff I do on the internet, like live game streams and stuff like that. That's patreon.com/iceworm if you want to support that. Every bit helps. And I'm grateful for, the patrons that I already have, and hopefully we'll be getting more. And I'll be able to, do more of these on a more regular basis. And I hope to be back. We'll see how this video goes. Like what kind of like rating it gets, like how many people watch it. And then I'll probably be back next week where I'll be talking about a different game. Haven't chosen the game yet. If you have any suggestions about what game I should choose, write it in the comics and write them in the comments, and I'll consider it. If it's a game I've played or have access to, I'll give it a shot. And a lot of these will be about me comparing like games in the series. Like, is this game, like for example, with the Counter-Strike, it was like, I think Global Offensive is better than Source in 1.6. If it's a game that has say we do Legend of Zelda, I'll probably compare Ocarina of Time to maybe A Link to the Past or something like that, and say what I liked about each one, what I didn't like, and so on. So again, like the video, subscribe, and if you want to help me out, patreon.com/iceworm, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.